Good afternoon, or I guess it's really good morning still. We're going to afternoons. We'll say good afternoon. Appreciate everybody being here with us today as we honor someone who was very special, not just to Bridgewater College, but to the entire local Bridgewater community. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce a few special people who are in attendance today for our ceremony. Seated to my right, your left, the Whitelow family, Carter, Elsie, Josephine, Jacqueline, Christine, and Casey. Love and cookies. Got the cookies. To my left, your right is Laura Mapp, obviously Hall of Famer, BC and Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, former athletic administrator and coach, and as we know, a legend at Bridgewater College. Gene Woolley, newly inducted Hall of Famer and former athletic administrator and coach, and Mary Frances Leishman, Hall of Fame coach and faculty, health and PE at the time, I believe. I had to decide which way to put that. And then also Steve Watson, former tennis coach, and his wife Ruth. They'll just raise their hands. Appreciate them being here. And our tennis alumni who had the opportunity to relive their past on the courts this morning. I'm not sure how it went. I guess it went okay. No pulled muscles. And then members of the Bridgewater community for showing support for this renaming ceremony. At this point in time, I'm going to introduce Jordan Robinson. He's our head tennis coach, and he'll have a few remarks.
Like Kurt said, I'm Jordan Robinson. I'm in my 9th year as the tennis coach here of both the men's and women's teams. Thanks again for coming out to the alum. Obviously, coming out and playing some tennis again. Hopefully, you guys have continued to play since you graduated. I could see a little rust on some of you, but no, it went well. And this is the first alumni event that I've done as the coach. So hoping to make it a yearly tradition and continue to grow the attendance for it. Before I forget, we are having a tailgate spot after the event here, so I invite you guys to join us at that. We'll be in spot 12 over in the tailgating area, and so we'll be there, and then hopefully join us for cheering on the football team for the game at 2 o'clock. Dr. Bushman is going to be speaking in a few moments about the legacy that Coach Whitelow and Coach Mapp have left on our community here, our college, and our athletic department as well. But they asked me to just take a brief moment to share the legacy that they left on the tennis community specifically. So, you know, as coaches, and we have quite a few here, you know, we know the amount of hours that we spend with our athletes when they're here with us, you know, for 4 years, hopefully. But we don't always get to see the impact that we have on them after they graduate and move on from Bridgewater. Over the last few weeks, we sent our invite out to the alumni event, I guess beginning of September. So since then, I've received a lot of emails from tennis alum that spent time here on the tennis team, either for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And they all shared their gratitude for having played for either Coach Mapp and or Coach Whitelow. I wanted to just share with you guys one specific email that I got that it stood out to me. I thought it really kind of just was a good summary of what both these coaches meant here. So Robert Trout is a BC alum. He currently lives in Colorado, so that's his excuse for not being here today. I told him next year he's got to show up and plan better. But in his email, he shared the impact that both of these individuals had on him. In his email, he said, "In 1962, when I was 10 years old, Coach Mapp taught me how to play tennis, which I continued playing throughout high school at Turner Ashby. I then attended Bridgewater College, where I played for Coach Whitelow for 4 years before graduating in 1975. I continued playing tennis until my knees had had enough of the hard courts in 2015. Because of Coach Mapp and Coach Whitelow taking the time to teach me the game of tennis and to help me develop a love for it, I was able to enjoy 50 plus years of playing a sport that I would have never tried if it wasn't for them. I'm so grateful to have crossed paths with each of them." Now, I'm sure if we sent an email to all their former athletes of all the sports they coached, we would have very similar thoughts from a lot of them. But I just thought that was an awesome story that really showed, the love that both of these individuals had, not only for tennis, but just for all the athletes that they coached and the care that they showed for them. Our tennis programs, I don't think would be where they are today if it weren't for the many years that these two spent coaching both the men's and women's teams. As a program, we're continuing to try to build on the legacies that they left. We've experienced a lot of success the past few years. We've been finishing near the top of our conference last year. We're continuing to try to make the push to take out WNL, which is always a challenge, but we're continuing to work on it, and I think the gap is closing a little bit. We've had many individual accomplishments that we're proud of as a tennis program, but I think as a school as well, and we're hoping to continue that success in the future and continue to just carry on that legacy. So I'd now like to introduce the president of Bridgewater College, Dr. Bushman, to say a few words.
Thanks, Jordan, and thank you, Kurt, as well. I want to welcome everyone here today, especially those who are seated on the course today. Thank you for being here, and thank all of you as well. This is a very special day, and I have some prepared remarks that I'm going to read, but I wanted to share something else that I didn't write down in advance. So our first special event of the day was the Hall of Fame induction, where Gene and 3 other former outstanding student athletes were inducted into the college's Athletic Hall of Fame. And I'm thinking about that and all the student athletes, all the other members of the Hall of Fame, all their families, so many people here. It reminded me of how deep the legacy is for athletics, the student-athlete experience here, and I know everyone here appreciates that. Right after that, you walk across the football field over to the band pavilion for the formal dedication of the Nolan Henneberger Band Pavilion. And marching band was at the college, has been at the college in our past, and then went away. And because of a very generous alumna and her family, who are deeply committed to music education and music program, we were able to relaunch a program that doesn't just spread the college's name around the region, and they're going to London for the New Year's Day parade, around the world even. But it's also strengthening the academics, it's music education, it's improving the quality of life here on campus. And I told that audience there that one of the common threads with donors who support everything that we do here is that the ones who make the biggest difference also thank us for the opportunity to make that difference. It's really special. So we dedicated the band pavilion, and then I came here today, and we're recognizing and honoring and remembering individuals who have been part of this college for decades, who have had a profound impact on the lives of so many students and so many people in the community. I'm not sure that any words will do it justice. It reminded me that the one thing that we celebrate here are connections and the relationships that we have with each other. And I can't think of a better way to do that than with this renaming ceremony. So here are my remarks. I want to thank you all for joining us as we officially add the name of someone near and dear to the hearts of many in the community to our tennis courts, Carlisle Whitelow. I want to thank the Whitelow family for being here today, and thank Ms. Mapp, Coach Mapp, for recommending the renaming of our tennis courts to include Carlisle's name. I also want to thank all of you standing before me who are members of the program's alumni base and local community. You've all seen firsthand how the two people we're honoring here have shaped the program into what it is today and what it will be moving forward. Originally, the tennis courts here bore the name of just one Bridgewater College legend. Synonymous with Bridgewater athletics, Laura Mapp led several teams here at the college to new heights, including the women's basketball program, where she amassed nearly 500 career victories. She led the field hockey team, which advanced to the national spotlight under her guidance, and of course the women's tennis program, where she was at the helm for 37 years, seeing the team capture over 160 victories in that time frame. This renaming today further shows her dedication to the college, her connection to the lives of those around her, and to all of us who will benefit from her time at the college. Carlisle Whitelow will forever be a legendary name on the campus of Bridgewater College and the town of Bridgewater as well. He broke barriers as a student athlete here in the 1950s, as a member of the football, basketball, and track and field rosters, before spending a decade leading the youth of the Stanton Public Schools. He came back to the college in 1969, where he stayed for the next 28 years as a professor in the physical education department, as well as coach for many teams, including the tennis program. He saw the Eagles boosted to new heights as he guided the first member of the team to earn ODAC Player of the Year and the first player to play in the NCAA men's tennis tournament. Carlisle was lauded not only as a phenomenal coach, as he was named ODAC Tennis Coach of the Year, but also as a member of the college staff, being recognized as Faculty Member of the Year during his tenure. As great a coach and employee to the college as he was over his 28 years here, Carlisle Whitelow was an even better and greater person. The Ruriton Club named him Citizen of the Year, and he spent much of his time helping spread smiles around the town with just a simple wave. We're honored to visibly proclaim the Whitelow name on our campus and show our deepest appreciation not only for what Carlisle did here, but also for the person he was and what he meant to the town of Bridgewater. Moving forward, this tennis facility will be known as the Mapp-Whitelow Courts. All those who come out to the courts in the future will see a pair of names here that help define what it means to be a part of the Bridgewater community. Carlisle and Laura helped shape the college's story. They're forever a part of that story, the identity of Bridgewater College. At this time, I'd like Carter Whitelow and Ms. Laura Mapp, Coach Mapp, to join me up here at the podium. We've got a couple of certificates so that they can remember this. I know they won't need anything, but I want to officially recognize this as Mapp-Whitelow. That's for you.
Well, I appreciate everybody coming out and such a nice event. And Ms. Mapp, thank you for your willingness and kindness. And I think she would like to say a few words at this point. Without leading to.
Well, I did make a few notes, but I can't read them now, so I'm not do that. But I want to thank you for this honor and thank the college for all the recognition they have given me. I really don't feel deserving of this, as it has been such a pleasure for me to be able to teach and coach at Bridgewater College and spend my career here. Had excellent folks to work with, the Department of Health and Physical Education, the faculty, the staff, and all the employees. And in my job, I had the opportunity to work with the grounds people, dining service people, and all employees. And they were all just tremendous to work with. And I certainly do appreciate that and appreciate this honor. And certainly, Bridgewater is a great community in which to live, and I have enjoyed that. And I want to thank Dr. Bushman and Coach Kendall and any others who honored my request to add Coach Whitelow's name to the tennis court designation. And I appreciate that very much. When I came up to Bridgewater 61 years ago to teach and coach here at the college, one of the first persons I met outside of the college community was Carlisle Whitelow. I had the opportunity to meet him through his good friend, Jim Reedy. Jim's wife was a junior here at the college and played field hockey and played on the tennis team. So I had a chance for 60 years. I was fortunate to know Coach Whitelow during those 60 years and to be his friend. For 28 of those years, I had the opportunity to work with him very closely in the health and physical education department. In fact, our offices were only 2 doors apart for that entire time. Coach Whitelow coached the men's tennis team for over 20 years. And I was coaching the women's team. And we both had responsibility of teaching in the activity program of the college at the Health and Physical Education Department. And we taught in the tennis classes. We taught on these 3 courts, and there were 4 courts over on the other side of campus, on the west side of campus, which is now, I believe, the alumni gym parking lot. So during our class time and teaching, we got to get a workout going back and forth between the courts also. Coach was very dedicated. Coach Whitelow was very dedicated to his classes and to the team. If you were fortunate enough to have him in class, he remembered you. If he had the opportunity to coach you or teach you, he would remember you. Times if I would be in town and see one of our former students, alumni, and I would say to him, well, I saw so-and-so today. Oh, yes, I had her in my tennis class right away. Or I read something in the paper about someone. Oh, yes, I remember him. I remember him well. He was in one of my classes. He had a tremendous memory. I feel so fortunate to have had the opportunity to work with him during that time. So glad that Carter and his family and his mother Linda could be here today. I'm sorry Taylor could not be here. He's Carter's brother and nephew. Those young boys, I remember when they were very little and they would come up from Richmond to visit their grandmother and their uncle, and he would bring them over to the gymnasium. And they would come by my office and always speak to me. I always appreciated that very much. I certainly want to thank all of you for being here and all that I've had a chance to teach a coach who is here. Appreciate that very much. Thank you.
It wouldn't be a Bridgewater College event without a Whitelow speaking. So welcome. First and foremost, I want to just say this is a perfect illustration of why Bridgewater College is so special. Coach Mapp, thank you. Your selflessness on adding my uncle to your court is something that perfectly illustrates the kind of person you are. And we can talk about the numbers, about the wins and losses, which there weren't many, but the lives you touched, the thousands upon thousands of lives you touched is more than a number. You changed people all over the world, and we want to thank you for that. Thank you to Bridgewater College. This is such a special place, and I'm reminded of that every time I come back, and I want to say thank each and every one of you for coming here today. My uncle would be so honored by this, but at the same time embarrassed because he hated the spotlight. But I will say one thing, he would look around at all of you and say thank you for your love, tireless support, and support of the tennis program. And I want to say he loved this tennis program more than anything. Let's keep it going. I'm gonna be back here next year at the alumni event because I'm an alumni now. Even though I didn't play tennis, my knees are bad, but I'm your family now. And I'll be here every year. I implore you to invite one more person. Let's keep this going, and keep it growing, and I really enjoy this moment, and I look forward to seeing you all next year. Thank you so much. This is an incredible, incredible honor for our family, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.